Hi again, everybody. In this video, we're going to take a look at what 5 players I got on my list that need to have career seasons if the Sabres are going to excel this season. Coming up. Okie dokie. Let's get on this. So if the Sabres are going to blow up all of a sudden and go crazy out of nowhere, hence the 2006 Sabres, if we're going to do anything remotely close to that, I got 5 guys on a list here who I believe are key if that anything like that can happen. Okay, and anyway, let's just get into it. There was one player on purpose I left out of here. I'll talk about it at the end. Okay, number 5, and I got Yoki Haru. Yeah, I got Yoki Haru coming in at number 5. He's kind of a quiet guy in our blue line, kind of. You know what I mean? He's one of those first rounders he got a lot better last year, I thought, a lot better. But now it's we want to see like him take strides this year where we're like, oh my goodness, like we were with Samuelsson last year, kind of like with Yoki Haru this year, except his game's a little different. But Yoki Haru has to make this list, I figure, because he's one of those pivots on our blue line that can be a game changer, and especially if he becomes, if he really comes into his own this year, my goodness, what a help that will be right away. So Yoki Haru, number 5. Number 4, I got Victor Olofsson coming in at number 4. I think Olofsson has to have at least a 30-goal season, guys. At least 30 goals this year. We're paying him $4.75 a year, and we expect 30 goals. Let's face it. That's what he's paid to do. He's not really paid to do much else. He's paid to put the puck in the net, this guy. That's his role on this team, is when you got the chance, you got to bury it. And he showed all the signs of a 30-goal scorer last year, late in the season. And if I don't think he'll wind up getting injured early. I'm hoping not, because if you recall last year, and I remember, he started good last year. He started good and then he got hurt. And he was out for a while and then he came back. And the thing is, don't come back unless you're ready. If you're not 100%, no, you don't come back. Let the kids eat up that ice time. Let them get the experience. He had no business coming back, I think. If we're going to use that as an excuse why he couldn't score and find his touch for 30 games in a row, then it's on management that maybe he should have been sitting a bit more before coming back, right, with that wrist. So Olofsson I got at number 4. I think he can get a 30-goal season if he just slaps everything together and all his potential he has with that shot. We shall see. Number 3, I got Casey Mittelstadt. Casey Mittelstadt, folks, has to come into his own this year. Mittelstadt has to do something this year. And yes, he closed out that season strong, the bad year, the first COVID season. Or no, it was the second, it was the second COVID season, after the bubble anyway. The year we let go of, when Granato took over for Kruger, that year. Not last year, year before. Now that year, Mittelstadt came in. He looked really good under Granato that year, but last year, this guy couldn't get lucky if he tried. Really, it just seemed like health was not on his side last year. We have to hope that this year Mittelstadt really brings it together, gets a full season in. He needs to get an 82 games in, guys. He needs a season like that. He needs a season where he's in the whole season, producing the whole season, all of us happy with him the whole season, that kind of thing. We need a show me season from Mittelstadt. It's due. I'm hoping it's this year. I really am. Because the Sabres, of course, were very high on this kid when they drafted him, and now is about the time when he should be turning the corner. Okay, number 2, I got Dylan Cozens. Dylan Cozens, to me, is the type of guy, the way I see him, that if he goes off this year and has like a 30-goal season, if he just goes off this year and he's hitting everything that's out there and he just all of a sudden becomes a beast, we could be looking at a real superstar here. Mittelstadt has that potential. He has that drive. He has that tenacity about his personality. He has that little boyish grin, and he also has that fiery look of a 10-year veteran, all in the space of 5 minutes if you get him going the wrong way at the same time. I would think that Middleset Cousins, if he can, he's that type of guy that I believe the impact it would have on this team if Cousins had a big season, it would just blow up the whole team. Everybody would just be feeding off of it. I'm really hoping Cousins has a good year, guys. I really am, because he's the type of guy that it would be infectious throughout the team. He has that quality about him. So he is the next guy on my list at number 2. And number 1, I think, is without a doubt the guy that needs to have it happen is Rasmus Dahlin. If Rasmus Dahlin, guys, can have a career season this year, and I think he's going to, but I'm talking a career season where we're talking like 65, 70 points. We're talking how this guy is just all of a sudden in Norris talks. We're going to be talking about him for a Norris Trophy halfway through the season. That kind of season. If Dahlin can have that kind of season, the Sabres could be looking at a playoff spot, because it could be that vital on the team. Guys like him and Cousins, if they have big seasons, and Tage and Skinner have good seasons again, because they had big seasons, but let's say they have good seasons again, like 25 to 30, and I'm saying just that number, we could be looking at a playoff spot this year. It's that huge. So as I believe, as the Sabres go, is how Dahlin goes. If Dahlin is going, the Sabres will be going. It really is. He really is the face of the team now. You know, as much as some of us like Tuck, and some of us like Okposo. All of a sudden, Okposo came up from the scrap heap, and now he showed his heart last year, you know, because he was nowhere to be seen for years before that. And last year, he just seemed like such a good leader. But I think a guy like Dahlin has way more impact on a team when it comes to just winning. You know, Tuck, of course, can be that leader and everything, but he doesn't have the actual natural abilities that Rasmus Dahlin has, and just in pure talent. You know, if you're talking like heart and soul and everything, Tuck has it for sure. Some of these guys have it for sure, they do. But when it comes to just pure talent, guys, just pure talent, we don't have anybody in this team like Rasmus Dahlin. Nobody else. And we can try to nitpick it. Nobody's going to be like Rasmus Dahlin. When Dahlin hits his stride, it's going to be a scary thing, because I'm watching these other guys in the league like Makar and you know, Fox. I mean, there's guys I'm looking at, you know, that, just to name a few, there's others in the league, but just to name a few, that once they hit their stride, it was just the impact it had on their teams. You've seen it, you know? So it really is that important to us this year. If Dahlin can get going, the Sabres might be ahead of schedule when it comes to making the playoffs. All right, folks, done for this one. See you in the next one.